the organization turning an invasive plant into fuel. Mathenge, introduced to Kenya in the 1980s, certainly helped reforest new land, and in fact, it covered nearly everything and is now a problem. Rebecca Chepkemoi founded Ocean Youth Innovators to reforest the area with a better plant. And the best part? The Mathenge is converted into green briquettes, or clean fuel. Rebecca is a considerate activist and a passionate learner, always striving to learn more about our environment. And if running her own organization wasn't enough, she also helps electrify transportation with motorbikes and tuk-tuks. Finally, watch until the end to learn how you can help her organization, Ocean Youth Innovators. Her story is one you don't want to miss. Good evening, Rebecca. So I think we'll start off. Can you just introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do?
All right. So my name is Rebecca Chepkemoi. I am from Kenya. I'm based in Nairobi. And what I do, I currently work in an e-mobility company known as Autotrack East African Limited. I also have my organization. It's a small organization, a community-based organization based in Nairobi and Kenya. And what we focus on is we are focused in uniting young minds together in order to create local solutions, innovations that are geared towards climate action. So we bring together young, intelligent minds that have innovations with local solutions, and basically touched on 3 activities. That is planting trees. Number 2 is waste management, and number 3 is clean cooking solution. So our biggest project is a clean cooking solution, although we are on the first phases. So we are to create and manufacture green briquettes from organic waste, and we also have a project in Baringo South, whereby we are trying to eradicate a Prosopis juliflora, which is an invasive plant commonly known as Mathenge in Kenya, and we will be recycling or repurposing actually this waste into green briquettes. Yes, so that's basically in a nutshell of what we do.
That's amazing to hear. How does that work, out of curiosity, getting rid of an invasive plant?
Pardon?
Sorry, that got a little loud there. You mentioned you're trying to get rid of this invasive plant. What exactly will that look like? The process.
So our project, we just started it. Okay, let me start from where we started the Ocean Youth Innovators. So back last year, I was in Mombasa. It's a coastal region in Kenya, and we saw the marine waste. And my partner and I were, we had the sparkle to start something. And coming from a small community in Kenya where we use charcoal and charcoal and firewood as a source of cooking, it was kind of difficult during our young ages. And I thought to myself, is there an alternative that could be, good, could be cleaner and help us when it comes to reducing indoor air pollution and the health risks? Because my grandma has asthma due to this charcoal, the smoke that comes from this charcoal and firewood, because that's what we actually use currently at home. But we've transferred to gas, although gas is very expensive. And right now, the economy is actually so high. So affording gas is kind of expensive. So I thought to myself, what other alternative could we bring that is actually affordable to any other person who's living at the rural areas? So green briquettes came to our mind, and we wanted to repurpose organic marine waste in Mombasa, that is the coastal region of Kenya, that is the coconut husk and the seaweeds. Although the capital was intensive, so we put it at a pause. But then recently, we received a funding that we are about to start, although we've started the first phase. So that we shifted the project to Baringo. So in 1983 in Kenya, the government sought out to combat desertification, and the only way they thought was to bring up an invasive plant, or that is called the Prosopis juliflora, which I've just said it is Mathenge. But then they actually didn't research about the disadvantages. So the community of the residents of Baringo are in dire need. They are in challenges of this Mathenge. It leads to amputation, livestock are dying, and they are pastoralists. Like, it has so many challenges. It also chokes the growth of other crops. So the media has been talking about this Mathenge, and actually some organizations have also tried to eradicate it, but it has been in vain. And most people don't go to Baringo because of insecurity or some circumstances. So for us, my organization, we thought, why don't we risk it? Because these people are just like us. Why shouldn't we help them? We thought of this project, we applied for a grant, and we got it. So the first phase is to bring in a new plant that is called Gliricidia sepia. It's a very good plant. It grows fast. It's a drought-resistant plant. It has a lot of benefits. It can act as fodder for the livestock, because the community that lives in Baringo are pastoralists. So we actually need to, replace the Mathenge with a good plant that is adjacent to the community. So the first phase is to replace this Mathenge with Gliricidia, because we are not advocating for deforestation. We are advocating for reforestation. So we've started with putting up a nursery of the Gliricidia. So after like 3 to 6 months after the growth, I'm hoping it will pan out well, is when we'll now start uprooting and eradicating this Mathenge. Then we will convert this Mathenge to now the green briquettes. So it has some processes where the uprooting starts, we harvest the Mathenge, clearing, sorting out, we go to chopping or shredding in an extruder. So the process goes on, which is now converted to green briquettes. I will send you a photo of the green briquette so that you can see a sample. It's a very good, a clean cooking solution. And it's also reducing the carbon emission that, to the atmosphere, because I think we are all targeting towards zero carbon emissions towards 2030, right? Yes. So with this project, we are actually solving very many challenges at the same time. We are tackling different and various SDG goals. That is the no poverty. We are also tackling clean and affordable energy. We are tackling the climate action. And when it comes to the coastal area with the marine waste conversion, we'll also be tackling life on water. I think that's basically it for now. Yes, with that project.
That's amazing to hear. So you have the different ways you mentioned you're employing people in the area, you're tackling that marine waste, and you're also making a new fuel that's way cleaner. Can I ask, so when the government initially implemented the, is it called Mathenge? Am I saying
Yeah,
that?
but Prosopis juliflora is the scientific name, but Mathenge is commonly known back in Kenya.
So when they first implemented, did it achieve its initial goal of reforesting the area? Because you said it was desertified. It wanted to forest the area.
Yes, in fact, it surpassed the expectation, because now the whole, I would say, county, the whole area is now covered with Mathenge. But the problem is other crops cannot grow because it's choking the other vegetation. So the whole place is covered with the Mathenge, which is a plus because they achieved the desertification combustion. Yeah.
That's amazing. So it went way too far, but that's amazing. So your new plant is going to be combating that. And can I ask, so with this fuel specific, did you mention, I think you mentioned briefly, is it made of coconut husks and seaweed? It's from that waste they're making the fuel, and from also the Mathenge?
Yeah, so I mentioned that earlier on we were to start the same project in a different place, that is in Mombasa, Kenya, the coastal area. So use the marine waste. But now we put it on hold because of the capital. Right. It's very intense. And so when you got a chance to apply for another grant based on arid and semi-arid areas, we thought of Baringo. It became our interest. So we applied with the same concept, but now using different waste. So in this project of Baringo, we are using the Mathenge as waste to convert it to green briquettes.
Okay, excellent. So that's amazing, because you're chopping it down and then also using it. That's It's pretty cool. It's like a win-win. And the end goal is to somehow stop it entirely. Will you have to get rid of all the Mathenge to stop it from spreading, or you're saying the plants that you're making will be like a barrier kind of wall to stop it from spreading more?
Okay, so the Gliricidia concept is to actually replace or create reforestation, because I think we've had our president is advocating for planting 15 billion trees by the end of 10 years.
15
So
billion.
we wouldn't want to cut down trees and not replace it. So we're replacing it with a better plant that is not the Gliricidia sepia. Then we can now start to uproot these invasive species.
Okay.
So I think the only reason is to uproot it fully, because if you cut it down, it still regrows. Like I'll just send you the photos. I mean, this plant is grown everywhere.
Yeah, that'll be cool to see. It's scary, but it's cool to hear purpose it. So I love that. Well, shifting a little bit, I think that's a really good introduction to Ocean Youth Innovators. On the other side too, what exactly does you mentioned that you work with youth, and also like, is it working to educate them a little bit and helping get them involved? Because you mentioned you're kind of a collective, bring them together. How does that part kind of work?
So for us, our strength is creating awareness. Most people don't actually know maybe the effects of climate change. They don't know about blue economy. They don't know about circular economy. So what we try to do, we involve ourselves with the community engagement, educate them, because before we even started this project of Baringo, we had to first consult and interact with the community, because I mean it should be their project, because we are trying to help them. And the only way we can help them is by them understanding and getting educated about everything that is happening. We get to know how they feel and what they want to do about, these challenges that they're facing. So by involving them makes this more easier and, more impactful, so that they can actually help us to achieve this, because it's their own place, it's their community. And I believe that they also have the same thought, only that maybe they didn't have the support, or they haven't thought of how they can solve their problems. So we do community engagements, mostly to the women and youths, and people do volunteer actually. So after volunteering for our events, you automatically become a member of Ocean Youth Innovators. That is how actually we gather a lot of people to join the organization. So we do like cleanup. So when you go for cleanups, we call out to people online, or just word of mouth referrals. When they come for the events, you automatically become a member, and every other event we just participate together. Yeah,
That's a smart way to do it too. Through these discussions, has there been any sort of insight that you didn't expect? So because I know you mentioned lots of people are involved, but is there anything kind of unexpected that you've learned?
I would say different communities are actually having different kind of uptakes. But then again, you need what we do is we read the area, or we read the environment. And in most places, actually, my organization has diverse people, so from different tribes, from different races. I actually have one member from the US.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right. So I was saying, so we read the environment and we get to communicate with them in a language that they do understand. So if you go to a different native or an indigenous community, we look for someone who can actually translate or understand their tribe, so that you can get to communicate with them, at a personal level. So getting to communicate with them at a personal level, it makes things easier. So I would say some of the challenges that we have faced, or one instance that we actually didn't expect, is with this Baringo County. Actually, we did expect it, only that we kind of, I don't know how I'll put it up. But when we went there, so to discussing about this project, they were so adamant at first, but at the end of the day, they actually took it up well, because they were afraid that, what if the same plant that we want to bring, this new plant that we want to bring, can be more hazardous than the first plant, the other invasive plant? So they were like, no, the same way you are trying to bring this plant is the same way the other plant was actually brought in. And this one is more hazardous. We even feel like, the plant shouldn't have been brought, we would be very much okay. So they were really adamant, but we got to convince them through education and workshops. They actually now took it up, and they're ready to actually take it up, but they say they have to see the pilot and how it pans out. That is when they will fully accept the project.
Okay.
So it's about convincing, and it's about persuading these people to actually understand whatever impact you want to bring, the positive change. So if they know, they have the knowledge of the positive change that you're actually bringing on the ground, then they are well and good.
Then they'll go for it. That's awesome. And you said the way you convince them is you start a little pilot project or a tiny little small scale thing in their area, and then they'll see if that's successful, then they'll expand it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's excellent to hear. I love this idea so much, getting so many people involved. How is it? So you said Ocean Youth Innovators, if I'm not wrong. It's about a year old now?
Innovators, yes.
And it's about a year old?
Pardon?
It's about 1 year old at this point?
Yeah, 1 year old. So we started it last year on September 8th. That's when it was fully registered. Yes, so it's 1 year old in some few months.
Yes, happy late birthday. Out of curiosity,
Thank
then,
you.
how much has it grown by now then? Are there any statistics kind of on who's involved?
Wow, it has really grown. The fact that we started, so my partner and I started, but we had like a few members, like around 5. But now we have over 50 volunteers, because we've not really employed anyone because of funds. Right. So every member is a volunteer, and we have different members from different places of the country. So I would say it has really gained a lot of traction, and I'm happy how we are going, and I'm hoping it will go bigger and bigger.
It seems like a very promising process, so I don't doubt it'll keep growing.
Thank you.
And so we talked a lot about that, but you're still involved in quite a few other organizations, kind of similar.
The other organization that I work with?
That you work with, or the other, I read on your website, like the Rivers for the Future, other things like that. Do you want to talk about any of those ones?
So,
any of them.
All right. So the Rivers, the other ones are ongoing training that I am participating in, like the Biodiversity Academy, Rivers for Change. So they are, I would say, fellowships and training sessions that take around 4 months. So after we are done, you get certification and you get knowledge, which can actually use to impact on whatever I'm doing, the organization that I'm with, or any organization that I actually work with. So the other organization that I now work with, this is now not a fellowship or a training session, is Tuk-tuks East African Limited. It's an e-mobility company. So we manufacture electric tuk-tuk.
Amazing.
How do elocabs? Yes, elocabs, electric mkokoteni. That's what we call it back in Kenya. That's hard cut, but now electric, and electric motorbikes. Yes, so that's what we do in Tuk-tuks East African Limited.
I love that idea so much. I think something too, this is like my general observation. I don't know anything about electric vehicles, or not extensively, but I know at least in a lot of areas, they build these giant electric cars. And it seems like some of the problems with that is that the batteries are so heavy. With electric motorcycles, for example, or you mentioned, was it called a tuk-tuk? The other vehicle?
Yeah.
It seems like
tuk-tuk, motorbikes.
Motorbikes, okay. It seems like the battery can be a lot smaller. And are they much easier to manufacture, make them electric?
So currently, we don't have any manufacturing company of batteries. They are imported, the lithium ion batteries. But my company is actually looking into that to partner with the government of DRC Congo to manufacture now the lithium battery, so that at least the cost can actually be cheaper, because now they do have to import these batteries. But the advantage is we are trying to bring in, switching of batteries. When your battery is low charge, you can actually switch it with another. Or if you are well off enough, you can just buy 2 batteries. So when the other one is, the power is low, you can just switch it with the one that you have as you charge the other one, because you just charge it with the normal charger. And we're also trying to put up structures or shades that have that are solarized. So as you wait for your customers, you continue charging your vehicle. It might be the motorbike, the tuk-tuk, or anything else.
How long would it take usually to charge one of these? Maybe a tuk-tuk, for example.
Around 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
to fully charge.
To fully charge? And
yeah.
Can that be done with a solar panel, for example, you mentioned? Would that provide enough power?
Yeah, it can be done with that. Although we haven't started, but we've done the full research and a pilot that has actually worked. So what we're trying to look into right now, I would say it is now the challenge that people are facing out here who want to transition from the fossil fuel to, the electric vehicles, is the point of, charging stations are not enough. And yeah, I would say the most challenge is the charging stations. So we are trying to concentrate on putting up charging stations where they're solarized and this other electricity, so that when they are, diverse, like any other petrol station, is when people can fully transition now to the electric vehicles. Because, the question is, okay, I have bought this electric vehicle. What if the charge goes off when I'm in the middle of the road? So what do I do next? So our point of focus right now is putting up charging stations in every area or in every county around the country before we now fully transition to electric vehicles. Another advantage of this company of ours is that we now we retrofit the current fossil fueled vehicles, that is the tuk-tuk and the motorbikes, to the electric vehicle. Yes.
How does the conversion work? Do you just take off the combustion engine and then?
I would have told you if I was the technician,
okay.
But yeah, but how about I will fix you with the technical advisor to have an interview with you so that he can explain the conversion parts.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, it'd be amazing
Yeah.
to see the technical side too. I don't know. I do like both though. And I like the idea too, you said get all the infrastructure first and then convince people, because that seems like the more difficult part, but also so necessary.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, is there you mentioned indoor pollution is a problem with the way you currently use coal. Is there a problem with the vehicles as well? Like, are you projected to notice any difference between the emissions and like immediate pollution from a combustion engine versus an electric vehicle?
So electric vehicles also, contribute to the reduction of the carbon emission, because with this, let me say, for example, with our electric tuk-tuk, so per trip will actually be, if we get to like phase out this other fossil fuel, we'll actually be reducing 72 million kgs of carbon emission. I'm hoping we will just achieve this by 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when it comes to the electric vehicles, I don't think people feel the much of, contribution as compared to the indoor air pollution, like, the charcoal and firewood, because research has been done and 2.4 billion people do not have access to clean cooking solution globally. And from this, 3.2 million people die yearly globally through indoor pollution. So you can actually see the impact of indoor air pollution is actually bigger, because most people are, when it comes to the poverty level, most people are at under, earning, I would say, $1 per day. And due to that, they cannot afford the clean cooking solution. So they just end up using, charcoal or firewood because it's easily accessed. I mean, most people have trees at home, the rural areas. So what you just need to do is cut down that tree and you have something to cook with, right? So that's not really expensive. And you see with that, they have a lot of challenges. You have risk to, getting health issues. And that's why the impact is actually higher. But on the side of electric vehicles, people who are living under the poverty state actually use public transport. Now, with the public transport, we actually minimize the number of, I would say, vehicles that emit carbon emission to the atmosphere. Yeah. Hello?
I think, yeah, can you still hear me? I think I got everything you said. Can you still hear me? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can hear
It
you.
buffered for a second, but I think we heard everything, so I think we're good. So yeah, that sounds amazing because it's tackling both at the same time, indoor air pollution and greenhouse gases. So 2.4 billion, that's a shocking number.
Yeah.
Is it with the technology you're making now, do you think it'll be because people are so prone to use it, will it be implemented pretty rapidly? Will it be a quick change or will it take some time?
I would say with the areas that we've actually focused on, because they are now ready to actually, in fact, they were very passionate about this project that we want to start with them. And I would feel from how they would talk and how they would communicate and how they would say the challenges that they're facing. So from that, I would say they are ready to take this other project of the other clean cooking solution, like 100%. They're very ready. The only problem is now, start it and implement it. So with the challenges that people are facing with this project, I think they are ready to fully implement the project. And with the organization, will actually subsidize whatever charges we are going to sell these briquettes with. Although it's actually cheaper, it's cheaper than the charcoal that they buy.
Oh.
I might not mention the price right now. But we'll also have we'll also put up a sensor so we will be giving out air sense. How do I call it?
Like it detects the air
to
quality.
Measure the air quality. Yeah. So if your household is actually contributing to, reduction of this carbon emission, you get subsidies. You might even be given 0.5% of what you can buy the briquettes with. So if you were to buy the briquettes with maybe 40 Kenyan shillings, you buy it at a half price. So that becomes 20 Kenyan shillings. So with this, we are trying to actually, encourage people to transition from their traditional cooking, the traditional source of energy, to now this clean cooking solution. Yes.
And they can make money back for that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Or get the subsidies. That's amazing.
Yeah. So with this money, we have to pay the people we employ with. We have to, recharge it back to now planting the Gliricidia sepium. So it's like a circular, how do I call it? Circular economy, kind of. Because we have to give back to the community. The money will be going back to them because, they also want to earn money. They also want to earn a living. And at the end of the day, we want to create a clean and healthier planet to both us and, the ecosystem at large.
I love that emphasis on how many things it impacts. Like you mentioned earlier too, with the poverty and then the immediate air pollution, but also the global pollution as well. Because I think you're kind of right. With the 2.4 billion, it's amazing because I think if you're not in a place where there's that immediate pollution, like you have a stove or something, it's not that obvious that we all think about global CO2, but we don't really think about air pollution as much. So I think that's an amazing project you're doing, and I love it so much. So I'm interested to hear how it grows as well, so I'll keep up with it.
All right.
As we kind of wrap up here, I have two final questions. The one is, you feel free to take a moment to think about it if you'd like. It's a little bit bigger. But if you had one piece of advice to give to anybody who's looking to start in the climate area, so looking to start with conservation or like you're doing some engineering, if somebody's looking to start there, what advice would you give them?
All right. My favorite quote is, be the change that you want to see in the world. So if you start, then the change that you want to see is the change you actually expecting back. You can be the change. And I learned this from the Rivers of Future training session. We were told of the concept of think, do, think. Don't do and then think and then do. So no, okay, sorry, I got confused there.
Right.
So you do and then think and do instead of think, do, think. Because if you think, you'll actually take a lot of time thinking and, the establishing whatever you want to establish and implementing it will actually take a long period of time. while you would have just done it, and then maybe now think how you can actually improve it. What are the weaknesses? What are the strengths? You can just do a SWOT analysis and now do something better. So with the do, think, do is actually the best concept anyone can actually take into consideration. So if you want to start something, do it, and then now think of whatever or how you can improve that project better. Yes, so that is the advice I could give to anyone.
Do, think, do. I like that. Yeah, it's definitely different from conventional knowledge that says plan first, because that takes so much time. And people usually convince themselves out of the thing they want to do. So excellent. And then lastly, we covered a lot. Is there anything you think that you would like to cover that we haven't talked about yet?
No, but I would like to say that we are now looking for funders and angel investors with the Baringo project, because the challenge has been now getting funds to fully establish the 3-phased project. Although right now we've just started the first phase, but we would really like support from anyone, because you're not helping Ocean Youth, you're not helping me as a founder, you are helping the people of the community, you are helping the residents. And Kenya right now is facing a lot of insecurity when it comes to that area because of bandits. And this could be some of the challenges that they are facing and leading to this banditry. So why don't we help these people, these good people from the community? They are indigenous people, they're humans like us, and they deserve to be helped just like any other person. So join us with making the future brighter and healthier and cleaner for them, and make clean cooking solution the catalyst for positive change. Yes.
Where should we donate or invest?
So I will just send you the link.
Okay.
Please send it to the chat box or afterwards.
I think after would be easier, because I can share it with the video too. I can put it on the screen and then share it below also.
Or should I read? So we do have a pay bill, we do have a bank account. I don't know if I should read it loud or I will just send it to you so that you can just post it later on.
I think after, yeah, that'd be easier. And then I can share that. So
okay.
Yes, but I will share that. Keep that noted. Anybody watching as well, they need donors. I like that a lot too, though. Like you mentioned, you're helping the people. It's not personal profit, it's all a nonprofit. So I love that. Well, thank you again so much. I don't think I froze. Okay. Thank you again so much for speaking with me today. It was really insightful to hear about Ocean Youth Innovators. I didn't know exactly what to expect when we came into talking about that project. I've seen it on your Instagram, but there's so much more that I learned about it today. So thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you so much for hosting me, and I hope I will see you again next time.
Of course. I look forward to speaking again soon. Thank you.